City of Stevens Point Personnel Committee meeting, recorded June 12, 2023.
Personnel Committee to order. HR Manager Frosch, will you call the roll?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Zarazua.
Here.
Shore.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Casance.
Here.
Burr. Here.
Thank you. All right, first item on our agenda, second item, I guess, is the amendment to Administrative Policy 3.01, Standard Benefits, Licenses, and Certifications. HR Manager, if you would. Do you want
I'll
to
move approval.
Okay,
I'd second the approval.
thank you. I think, do we want the director to provide the information, the background information here?
Okay, I definitely will then. As is somewhat highlighted in the memo, to go a little more in depth in this existing employment scenario there, we're finding it very difficult to find people with CDLs. Typically, we could sort through all the applicants, throw out the ones that didn't have the CDL because there were more than enough applicants with CDLs that were qualified individuals to do that. This day and age, there just aren't that many. In fact, we get many, the vast majority of the applicants we receive today do not have a CDL. So we can't no longer just take the ones with the CDL because we're not getting the best initially of the employees, and we definitely know that. We've spent a little bit of time since last year, February, looking at the best way to help get CDLs. Looking at potential in-house as well as some out-of-house things. It appears that out-of-house is going to be the best approach for us to do that, but then there's an expense to do that. So what this policy is simply just really to recoup that cost if they should leave. And I know Transit has had that issue. They do in-house training, but they've had that happen to them several times already where they've trained someone, and as soon as they get their CDL, they say, bye-bye, I've got another job. And we don't want to be that anymore. So we're looking just for that. As we get into this, since we haven't put anything through the training, I suspect we'll probably be back with some tweaks, but this at least gets us started so that we can be clear with new candidates here, what the policy is as far as reimbursement, because we will be looking to send those individuals out for training to get that CDL.
Okay.
So, I don't know, Superintendent Johnson, do you want to add anything?
I think you covered it. We're here for any questions.
So yes, any questions, and Superintendent Johnson and I can definitely answer them.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the committee?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How much is a license?
That's actually good. So was it 30?
The cost varies.
Can you come to the,
Yeah, you got to come to the lectern.
thank you.
The cost varies. If we're just talking about from the DMV, that cost, we're close to about $200, all in with temporary license and actually obtaining the CDL and the testing. However, the training portion, that's much more costly. That we are looking at about $3,000 to $4,000 total. That's schooling. As in the memo, the requirements have changed in February of 2022, where it's not just where you can apply for your CDL, get your temps, go through the schooling yourself. There are alternatives, and we looked at them. However, it's very unclear as how early this is, what sort of liability could come on the city with us taking that in-house. The requirements for what we require for CDL in Streets Department or Parks Department is different than, say, Transit. Transit is for buses, and we have different requirements with air brake, either Class A or Class B, depending what the application is, as well as tanker endorsement.
So I wasn't really following. You have two different prices there. What was the $3,000 or $4,000? What was that for?
That's the actual class and the training that we would send the person to get certified with their CDL.
So you're looking at over $3,200 per person?
That's correct.
Okay.
And that's part of why there's a part in here of being reimbursed if someone leaves.
Correct,
within a
yeah,
certain
it's certainly not something that, and it's been happening in other places. We've talked with other public works departments, they've seen that where they've paid for the training, they get the training. Now, once you get a CDL now, because of the stricter requirements to obtain the CDL, it's like your education. If someone's going to pay for it, they get it, and they're more valuable to go somewhere else. It's a big trend right now, especially with the shortages we see with employees and getting people to apply for positions, that it's very common that CDL training and paying for that training is in the workforce right now. I don't know if listening to the radio just on the way down here, I heard 2 different places that are offering paying for their CDL to get employees through the door.
Last month, we authorized roughly $50,000 for a study to be done on the departments and stuff. Would this be part of that study?
No,
Why not?
because the CDL is currently a requirement of the position, so it's already incorporated into the pay plan. What the director and the superintendent are saying is we're getting applicants who do not have the CDL,
Yeah.
so they don't qualify. Even though they might be great candidates, they don't qualify. What we're offering to do is, or what we're asking to do is, we will pay for them to get their CDL, but if you leave within a year, you got to give us all the money back. If you leave within 2 years, you got to give us half the money back.
That I don't understand. It's just $3,200 up front or more per person. How many people do we need to have, how many positions are open right now?
2.
Okay,
In
so
streets.
we're looking 64.
I don't know about other departments, but within streets, we have 2 positions right now. The current opening, or 2 openings that we have not had a single applicant with a CDL.
So within the next year, if this was to go and happen, what do you estimate would be the cost that would be spent for CDL licenses for training new staff employees? Just an estimate. How many positions on average do we lose a year?
5.
What was that?
5.
5?
And
Or 5 times, okay, 3,200.
it's hard for me to predict that because I would
Yeah,
really
yeah.
I'd really like to be optimistic that we will get
Oh,
to a
everybody.
point where, this position is a position that people want to come on and stay for, 30 years, like, traditionally this position really has been. So we're in a different time right now. So I'd really like to say that number, it won't be 5 in the future, but, right now the reality is it is.
And that's why we're looking at all types of benefits.
Yep.
Leave management, or, all types of benefits to keep and retain employees.
Training, I think something that wasn't necessarily in the memo, in some of the applications that we got, in the last, year that I've been here and other positions I've been in, sometimes there's really attractive candidates that don't have a CDL that get looked over just looking for someone that has their CDL, which is a requirement. When we're looking to build culture, I think looking at the character and some other backgrounds of candidates that we can bring in with this policy would be really attractive for getting great candidates for the city.
Do we have anyone
I don't
else?
have any more questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? I have one, I guess. Is there a difference in the rate of pay for someone who's coming in without the CDL?
Because it's a condition of employment, no, there isn't. They're expected to get it. They're required to have it if they don't have it within 6 months, so within their probationary period.
All right. Any other questions from the committee?
So these things last a certain time. Is this a cyclical sort of thing that we can expect? Like, okay, we have so many people in streets department. We need so many people to maintain this. They all need to be certified. Is there like a predictable, we're going to have 6 people in a certain year versus, 2 in a certain year?
No, there's no reason, to know that is, and we don't know if, the situation always changes. We may get more applicants that have it. Just like your regular driver's license, it needs to be renewed. That's also covered in this policy as far as the renewal. It's every 8 years. Once they have it, though, unless they have a violation, alcohol, whatever, that they would lose it, it's theirs to keep just with the regular renewals, which are minimal cost.
Alder Shore?
Thank you, Chair. I think just to check something that probably came up as you were looking at this, are any of those other employers having like a co-pay so that, it's not all of the costs, but maybe, I don't know, 90% or?
I don't know how many, I don't know if he knows in that, but there's so many different ways to that. In fact, we've looked at some of the other municipalities, and some of them are going out to like 4 or 5 years on even reimbursements and stuff. We decided 2 years because we wanted to be more competitive in there, and thinking that someone's going to stick around for 5 years is longer, and that may be a deterrent for more to say, geez, they want me to commit to 5 years. I mean, you're lucky to keep someone for 3 years. And our hope is that we can otherwise attract people to do that. But there's, you think of it, there's a whole plethora of different approaches that everybody has taken. We, again, trying to get the best candidates are, our approach was we're just going to pay for it up front, and then we'll just reimburse if they don't stay for 2 years.
Thanks.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. Any other questions from the committee? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. And motion passes. With that, our meeting is adjourned at 6:11 p.m. And next up is Public Policy and General Government.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.